done with many and most of my books is taken a true crime and take the DNA out of it and reverse it. Because the first writing professor I had, I went to a very good girls' academy on a scholarship. My father had died, my brother had died in service. We were living on $78 a month. And I was frantic to make money. So I went to secretarial school. And I was a secretary for 3 years, which at Remington Rand, and they had their own in-house advertising agency. So at 18, I was secretary to the creative director. And I was sitting in on all of the discussions about why this ad worked, why this campaign did, why this slogan worked and this one did not. And so I had a 3-year tutorial in advertising, which served me extremely well because I was with, what is it, Mad Men? That was my time of being in advertising. I was widowed after 14 years of marriage and went to work, but I could go into an advertising department because I knew all about it. But that's a long answer to the fact that as soon as I got married, and I had just turned 22, and I'd been a Pan American hostess for a year and a half.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Yeah, but I walked down from the honeymoon to NYU. I said, I have got to learn how to be a professional writer. It was yearning and churning, and I learned everything I needed to know in that class.
It was creative writing class?
Or creative writing, the short stories. I never dreamt that I could write a novel. But, and he was a little guy, and his tie touched his shoes. But he could teach a course. And he used to publish William Byron Mallory, his name was. And he published regularly in the magazines at that time. And he said, after a few sessions, assigned us to write a short story. And we all looked dismayed. He said, I see the look on your face. He said, you don't know what to write. Yeah, no, you don't know what to write. But I'm telling you what to write. Is there a family story, the family secret that you only hear about in whispers? Is something that happened in a friend's family? Is it something you read in the newspaper and you keep following that case? He said, you take that true case, you ask yourself 2 questions, suppose and what if, and turn that case into fiction.
So that's what you do with a lot of your simpler novels?
From the very beginning. In that case, I was doing a short story, and we had stowaways on some of the ships. And I wasn't with the stowaway, but I was also on the last ship, the last Pan American propeller plane that went into Prague before it was closed to American families. We had no one in, we came in from Germany. We were picking up 7 Americans. There was an air show going on. The Soviets were showing their air power, in case anyone didn't know enough about it. And in the terminal was empty except for guards with machine guns. And there were several thousand people at the airport that were told to show up and employ. And I went in, and there were 7 Americans huddled together. And I went over to them, and they said, no one would dare see us off. It is not wise to advertise on American connections. And the captain came over, and he said, Mary, don't wander around. We're going to fuel up and get out of here. I don't like it here.
But you got a story out of it.
But I got a story. Because I thought, suppose the stewardess goes back first. Suppose there is a 17-year-old member of the underground trying to hide on a plane. And they're searching the field for her. And my 18-year-old brother had died in service 2 years before. So I could picture Joe with a shock of blonde hair. And I wrote that story, Stowaway. And when I turned it in, because I did suppose and what if. Suppose the stewardess goes back. Suppose there is someone trying to hide on the plane. Suppose. And when I turned it in, he said, Mary has written a professional short story this story is going to sell. I guarantee that.